What's up everyone? Landon with LMR.com. Today I have JLT's Cold Air Intake Kit for the 2018 to 2019 Mustang GTs. I'll be providing a general product breakdown, showing you guys the easy installation steps, and of course, dyno in the car to see how much power you can expect with this Cold Air Intake Kit and a custom Lund racing tune. This JLT Cold Air Intake Kit is going to be for the 2018 to 2019 GT owner out there wanting one of the best cold air kits on the market. JLT was one of the first to market a cold air kit for the Gen 3 Coyote, and they did so by referencing their R&D from the GT350 kit. This particular kit provides everything you need to install it into your S550, with the only exception being the handheld tuner. And of course, I'll touch base on that a little bit later. Taking a closer look at what actually comes in the kit, you'll get an inlet tube that features a massive 120mm opening for the mass airflow. This tube does have radiused ends for smooth airflow and necks down to a 4.5-inch opening to support larger diameter throttle bodies if that is something you already have installed or plan to install later down the road. The inlet tube does have both of the connections for the driver's side PCV and the evap hose. It does not have the connection for the sound tube. If that's something you are wanting to delete, JLT provides the needed plug that installs into the firewall. If that is something you are wanting to retain, they provide the necessary hardware to do so. Their heat shield is fully roto-molded, so it's going to provide a nice fit and finish in the engine bay, and includes the fresh air duct to properly accept fresh, cool air from the front of the car, just like the factory airbox. JLT provides an industry-leading air filter element manufactured by S&B, which is washable and reusable. JLT recommends filter maintenance every time the car is due for an oil change. They also provide a silicone coupler for the inlet tube to throttle body connection, and of course, all necessary hardware for the install. Now, switching gears back to the handheld tuners. Out of the box, the SCT BDX tuner has a preloaded SCT tune file for this JLT Cold Air Intake Kit. If you are wanting to go ahead and jump right into a custom tune, be sure and check out our SCT BDX and N-Gauge tuner packages, both with custom tunes from Lund Racing. Before we install the JLT Cold Air Intake Kit, we are going to get a baseline dyno of our 2018 GT in stock trim. This car is a performance pack car with the 10R80 automatic transmission. This means we're going to do the pull in 7th gear, which is the 1-to-1 ratio for that transmission, and of course we do have 93 octane fuel in the tank. Our initial run in stock trim is 411 horsepower at 6,600 RPMs and 395 foot-pounds of torque at 4,500 RPMs. So now that we have our baseline numbers, I'll install the JLT Cold Air Intake Kit and the Lund Racing custom tune.
To begin the install, you'll first want to pop the hood and then remove the battery cover. This is held in place with 3 push pins. Loosen the positive battery cable hold-down nut with a 10mm socket. Remove the cable from the battery and then dislodge the harness clip. Loosen and remove the 4 15mm nuts, securing the strut tower brace if it's equipped. There are going to be 2 nuts per side. Remove the strut tower brace. Use a small flathead to remove the 2 access covers from the engine cover. Loosen and remove the 2 10mm nuts. Pull up on the cover to remove it from the car. Depress and remove the quick connect on the frontward side of the inlet elbow. Release tension on the hose clamp, securing the sound tube to the inlet elbow if it's still in place. Remove the hose from the inlet elbow. Dislodge the push pin from the driver's side strut tower. Now, the easiest way to remove the 10mm nut securing the sound tube to the firewall is with a long extension, a wobble or swivel adapter, and of course a deep socket. Once the nut is removed, pull out on the sound tube and then it's free to be removed from the car. Remove the passenger side PCV connection from the inlet tube and rotate it out of the way. Release the red locking tab on the mass airflow connection. Depress the tab and then remove it from the airbox lid. Dislodge the harness clip from the airbox. Now you can remove the 10mm airbox hold-down bolt. Loosen the hose clamp securing the inlet elbow to the throttle body with a 7mm socket. Slide the inlet elbow off of the throttle body and then remove the factory cold air intake assembly from the car. If you're going to be removing the sound tube, use the provided body plug from JLT to cover the hole at the firewall. Remove the large rubber grommet from the factory airbox. Also, remove the metal shell and smaller rubber grommet. Install both the smaller grommet and metal shell into the JLT box. Place the larger grommet into its designated area on the fender apron. Position the JLT box into the car and make sure the dowel seats into the large rubber grommet. Reinstall the hold-down bolt and then fully tighten. At this time, you can slide the air duct towards the upper grill. Verify that it lines up with the opening and that the frontward peg passes through the box. Loosen and remove the two T20 mass airflow retaining screws. Carefully remove the meter from the factory lid. Place the provided gasket over the mass airflow sensor. Correctly orientate the sensor and then install it into the JLT elbow. Use the provided Phillips head screws to secure the mass airflow sensor. If you are going to be keeping the sound tube, measure 3 inches from the pre-installed PCV fitting and then place a mark. You'll want to drill a 1 1/4 inch hole in the elbow and then install the provided rubber grommet. After the rubber grommet's installed, you can then insert the provided plastic fitting. Now, since we're deleting our sound tube, we're going to go ahead and skip these steps. Go ahead and pre-install 2 clamps onto the silicone reducer. Be mindful of the diameter change on the reducer. Install the silicone reducer onto the throttle body. Snug down the clamp that secures the reducer to the throttle body. Install the air filter onto the JLT elbow and tighten the clamp. Slide the intake pipe into the reducer. Verify that it's properly positioned and then fully tighten the clamp. Go ahead and fully tighten the smaller clamp. Install the evap line onto the lower fitting near the degas bottle. Connect the PCV line to the fitting on the intake pipe. Install the harness clip to its designated hole in the JLT box. Reconnect the mass airflow sensor and then push in on the red locking tab. Reinstall the engine cover and its associated hardware. Go ahead and reinstall the strut tower brace if equipped and tighten the hardware. Reinstall the harness clip back onto the strut tower stud. Reconnect the positive battery cable and then tighten the hold down nut. Reinstall the battery tray cover. Use the provided foam piece and install it over the intake pipe. This is utilized to help keep as much heat away from the filter as possible. At this time, go ahead and double check your work. Once you've determined everything is good to go, plug in your handheld tuner and flash the PCM with either the SCT tune or a custom tune. It may be in your best interest to connect a battery charger when flashing the PCM. Follow the on-screen instructions on your handheld tuner to correctly load the tune file. Once the file is loaded, start the car and drive it around to verify everything is working correctly. After that, you're good to go.
So with the JLT Cold Air Intake now on the car and our Lund racing tune ready to rock and roll, we're going to turn the rollers and then we'll take a look at the results. Man, these Gen 3 Coyotes really respond well to simple bolt-on modifications. With the JLT Cold Air Intake and the Lund tune, our 2018 Mustang GT put down a very impressive 444 horsepower at 6,800 RPMs and 408 foot-pounds of torque at 4,600 RPMs. Peak gains were 33 horsepower and 13 foot-pounds of torque on 93 octane fuel. Now, because of the factory speed limiter, we were only able to take the car to 6,600 RPMs on our baseline pull, which the car was turning about 150 miles an hour. Could it have made more power without the speed limiter? Probably so, but this is what you can expect from your bone stock Gen 3 Coyote. For the most current pricing and product information on the parts you have seen in the video, be sure and reference the product pages. To see more how-to and review videos covering industry-leading products, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and don't forget to turn on notifications. While you're at it, check out our other videos, and don't forget to shop lmr.com for all things 1979 to present Mustang, and of course, SVT Light.